Hello, hi, I'm Greg and welcome to my coat's cave here. And we get a lot of people questioning us, asking us how to calibrate a 1600 wheel balancer. And we have a rare opportunity. We do have one in the shop for a customer working on it, getting ready to deliver it back, and we thought we'd make a video before we take it back. So we have a 1600 coats wheel balancer, and we're going to assume a few things like that you know how it works and you know how to use it, so we're not going to go over that. But we're going to show you how to calibrate. Now, how do you know it needs calibrated? Well, if it's chasing weights, which means you get your numbers and they're not zeroing out, and you keep adding weight and adding weight, something is either wrong with the machine or it just needs calibrated. That's how you know. It could be that the sensors need recalibrated, or that the arm itself is putting the wrong numbers in. Okay, so that's what we need to find out and get corrected, and it'll get corrected when we do the calibration. Okay, so we're going to assume that you know how to use the balancer and that you've already made yourself a good test wheel or calibration wheel, and that when you bought the balancer new, you should have our blue Coats 4-ounce wheel weight. Okay, now you don't necessarily have to have this wheel weight, but you do need a 4-ounce weight, and it's preferably you should use a steel wheel for your calibration wheel, and you should have a tire on it with air in it. Make sure that you mount it and know what's in it. There's no fix-a-flat, no water, nothing rolling around in the tire, because that will never zero out. So you need to know your test wheel. So you put your test wheel on the machine and balance it to zeros. If the balancer is not working, eventually you could get it to zeros, but if you have a second balancer or whatever, you can balance your wheel to zeros. And then keep it as your test wheel. Don't let anybody sell it or use it. So on this wheel, what we're going to do, I know that it's balanced, but I'm going to put the numbers in anyways. So we take our readings, close the hood. The balancer will spin up and give us our readings. And you can see my tire is balanced. It looks bad. It comes from a junkyard. It's covered with wheel weights, but it's zeroed. On any machine and any shop, anywhere I go, this tire will read zeros. Now, if we push the round off, we turn that off, you can see we have 0.20 and 0.18 in there still. So I could probably add a 1/4 ounce to the outside to get this number here down lower. That will make a better balance. So I've got the 1/4 on there, and I'm going to try to get rid of some of this here, 0.20. As you can see, we're down to 0.5. We're pretty good. No need to put a 1/4 over there. That's not going to do a whole lot. That's only a couple. That's just a little bit over half of a 1/4 on the 18. So we're going to go with this here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set my tire at 12 o'clock. Okay, so on the Coats balancer, we have to put the 4-ounce weight at 12 o'clock, and then we have to move it to the inside at 12 o'clock. My test wheel is already marked, and this is something maybe we'll make another video. You can see how we do this, but I have this mark is exactly behind the valve stem. So if I set my valve stem at 12 o'clock before I calibrate, which I got it here, that's good. And you should do that on all our Coats balancers. And we turn the balancer off and back on again, and then this will be our 12 o'clock where we're going to put our 4-ounce weight. However, this balancer has a line, a horizontal red laser line that tells you 12 o'clock. We might not be on with it, so we could actually be off a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this gearbox. Then we're going to hit the Coats name. We're going to add our top secret code in here that no one's allowed to know. Okay, and then we're going to go in here and hit 12 o'clock laser. We turn on the 12 o'clock laser, as you see here, and we're going to put that yellow line on the 12 o'clock laser. Okay, with that lined up at 12 o'clock exactly, we're going to turn the balancer off. All right, so with our 12 o'clock laser line lined up with our yellow mark on the 12 o'clock of our tire, we have turned the balancer off, and we counted to 10 Tennessee. Okay, so 1 Tennessee, 2 Tennessee, right? Because that's where Coach is made in America, in Tennessee, all right? So it took a minute or two, which we had a cup of coffee, you know, and all that, while it booted back up. Okay, so now we're ready to go. No one turned the tire. It's right where it was when we shut it off, right on that mark. Now we instantly go over, hit the gearbox again over here. This time we're going to hit that gearbox, and we hit calibrate. So it says, before calibration, did you check? You say, yeah, we checked all that already. That's what we were doing. Now we're good to go to proceed. And it wants the rim diameter. We know that this is a 17-inch wheel, so we're going to hit 17.0. And yes, you can use a 17-inch wheel. And I do use a 17-inch wheel on these. It says lower hood, touch spin. So whenever you're calibrating, you have to touch spin. It doesn't start automatically. It acts a little different when it's calibrating than when it normally does. So when it stops, we raise the hood, and we put the weight at 4 o'clock. However, on this particular time around, our yellow line, our 12 o'clock line, is at about 4 o'clock, and it's supposed to be at 12 o'clock. So I know that the balancer didn't stop in the right place. I'm going to discard this calibration by hitting stop, by hitting cal again, without doing anything. Hit proceed, put the 17 back in again, enter, lower hood, and touch spin. Okay, raise the hood. As you can see here, our yellow line is at 12 o'clock. And so it says attach 4-ounce weight on the outside. So we're going to put the 4-ounce weight above the valve stem. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? There we go. All right. Now we're going to lower the hood and touch spin. Okay, so now, after the first initial spin, we're going to take the weight from the outside. Well, actually, that was the second spin. And we're going to put the weight to the inside. Actually, the directions are on the screen. We're going to put it right on our yellow line. This line is exactly behind the valve. So when you make your test wheel, always make sure that you get those two perfect. Touch spin, let it spin up and take its reading. Raise hood. Rotate the wheel till it lines with the calibration weight. We're going to come down here. We have our red dot down here for our sticky weights. And we're going to put that right in the center of the wheel. If you can see that. You know, maybe if I turn that light out, can you see it better? No, probably not. Okay. While holding it in the center of the weight, we hit next. Unbalanced calibration complete, touch next. Press exit. Now, the balancer instantly goes to the calibrating the arm. On this model, you don't have to choose it, it's there. What we're going to do is bring the arm to the edge of the faceplate. So that's going to be level and smooth. You're not going to be able to see it until we're done. I'll show you when I take the wheel off. But we're going to move the arm out here. And I can feel that it's smooth with the edge of the faceplate. I'm going to hold it with my right hand and look at the number, which is about 8.2. So I'm going to hit the green arrow, and it says A dimension, which is 8.2. You got to put the point in. Hit enter. Move arm to home position. Bring the arm home, set it down on the plastic, let it rest. Touch next. Move arm to clip 1 weight location. So we're going to put the arm up here like we're taking a new reading. This tire has a round, all wheels kind of have like a round half moon there. You kind of get a feel like you're just going to grab it and pull it up there and go with that measurement. Okay. Once we're there, we're going to hit the green arrow. It wants to know the diameter of the wheel, 17.0. Enter. The A dimension down here, it wants to know, which is about 3 exactly. The A dimension is 3.0. Enter. It says move arm to home position. I just take my time, come over, lay it down. Arm calibration is complete. Press exit. If you'll go to the calibration, press exit. Okay, so now we're done with the calibration. But are we? We do need to check our work. So what we're going to do is close the hood. It's just that simple. Let it take a new reading. The reading was 375 and 0, which is acceptable. And the reason why that is because there was that 0.18, if you remember when we started in there. So you're either offsetting it or adding to it, or you're right on. So 375, 4 or 4 1/4 would be acceptable, and the other side should be zeros. All right, so, and that weight with it being green should be at 6 o'clock. If it's not at 6 o'clock and it's somewhere else, you've got to recalibrate it because it has to be offsetting it. So we're going to turn off the tire lock, take the weight off the back, and we're going to put the weight on the outside. And you can see, we could put it anywhere. I kind of put it above the valve stem, but what we're going to do is check the outside reading now and see what it says. Okay, that reading is 4 ounces, and the inside reading is zeros, so we know the bouncer's working correctly. And if you look, you can see that the weight is at 6 o'clock, which is very important. All right, are we done? No. There's still another test I want to do. And that is I'm going to turn on hit the weight calipers, and I'm going to put my numbers in. Okay, they're correct. I always want to make sure those are correct, which is the 3, the 17, and the wheel is 6.4 inches wide. Okay, so also we need to check the sonar over here. And how we check the sonar is we put a new reading in, let it beep. And you could stick something in here. I just use my hand in front of the sonar between the tire like this while I pull the hood down real slow. So what I'm doing is I'm fooling the balancer into thinking that the wheel's wider than it really is. So what we have is the wrong numbers, as you can see. We have 225 and 175, which actually add up to 3, that's 4 ounces right there, okay, but they're in the wrong place. So it just shows you if your sonar is off, if your arm calibration's off, but the bouncer itself is working properly, you'll still chase weights. So, and you can see our width, if you get in real close there, is 11.5, which is wrong, but that was because my hand was here. Okay, so the last test is we're going to take one more reading. Again, let it beep. Put the arm at home. Close the hood without any obstructions, and we're going to see if it goes back to the 6.4, 6.5, 6.6. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. See, it's 6.3 this time, which is good. So it's 4 and it's zeros. The weight's at the bottom. This is a successful calibration. This is a balancer that's working really good and ready to go. So this completes our calibration on a 1600 wheel balancer. And we wish you well, and God bless you, and we pray that you do well. And we thank you for supporting Coates.